Alright guys, so this is a radial and slick tire only test and tune, so I should be able to get a bunch of runs in. It's my first run of the night. Still kind of hot, but it's not as hot, so we shall see how this goes. Racing my buddy Will, or Bill, depending on who you know. That's about a 1500 horsepower 240, so not a chance in hell, but I should be able to get some good footage for him, so. A little rough. Felt like she was on a mission though. Definitely need to look at the log on that one, because that did not feel good at all. So we'll take a look and see what happened. No bueno. So what had happened was, on this launch I bogged the launch pretty bad, but that really wasn't the main issue. The big issue I had was in the first, second, and part of third, we had turned the boost way down, so it was basically on wastegate pressure for all of first, all of second, and half of third. The car was only seeing like 13 psi for first, second, and most of third. So last pass was a crud that bogged right off the line really hard, and just I ended up letting out early. It just wasn't worth staying in it. For this run, I went ahead, I bumped the two-step 300 RPM and gave it a little bit more duty cycle, so a little more boosting off the hit, and we'll see what happens.
good. At least it felt like it left good. Didn't bog. That's a plus. Definitely pulled the suspension out of whack a little bit. I just really hope that was like an 11.3. I'd be happy if that was like an 11.3. We'll see. You know, we'll see what it looks like. It looked pretty good though. 11.4. It's not horrible. Wasn't bad though. Do I do it again?
The light's going to be a pro tree, is that alright?
That's fine.
Okay, perfect.
Left good though. That's that sound I've been concerned about at the been curious. That's the noise why I'm rebuilding the engine. Although, you know, I think it's raining. Doesn't seem to hurt anything. It's just a nasty noise. Ew, horrible. That was shit. That was, there's no way. There's no way that was a 2.360 foot. I've been bamboozled. I really wish I had the draggy on. Really wish I had the draggy on for that run, because that run was cooking. But it says I had a 2.360 foot, which is, there's no way that was a 2.360. Yeah, had some smoke on it, but whatever. got some data. That's the important thing. Wish I had the draggy running, because if the draggy was running, it would have shown me what I actually ran. But the damn thing triggered early, so whatever.
Originally, it looked like the bulbs just went out, but after looking at the video, I can see the car creep forward just a little bit. So it's very possible I just creeped through the beams while on two-step. Alright, it's time for excuse time. Actually, there's really no excuses. I really wasn't planning on setting any records today or yesterday, this track event. The whole intention behind going to the track this time is to try and figure some stuff out. So it was a slick and radial only night, so I kind of figured it wouldn't be a lot of people there, and it would give me a lot of time to be able to try some things without feeling rushed or feeling like I'm only gonna get one more run, so I gotta make this one count. So I was able to actually just kind of take my time and try little changes here and there and see what happened. It was busier than I thought it was going to be. I really thought it was just going to be like 40-50 cars, because normally that's how many slick and radial cars typically show up to a test and tune. But I guess people really don't like dealing with street cars, so like there was like 100 cars out probably. I mean, there's quite a few cars out. It still went pretty quick. I probably would have got more runs in, but we were down for about an hour because a F-body literally shit its axle out the back end of the car. If I can get video of it, I'll put that in here.
Carlos couldn't smoke a little bit. Oh! Holy! Wow! And now it.
So yeah. So if it wasn't for that happening, probably would have got a lot more runs in. But I'm still happy with tonight. It was well worth the $50 because it's 25 bucks more than normal, but it was worth it. So anyways, yeah, so the intent was to try and figure some stuff out. Since I've switched to the bigger turbo, the 6262 from the old eBay 3084, I've been having trouble getting the car off the line. And so what I assumed it was because, I went from winter to summer. The track's usually a lot stickier in the summer. So I was like, well, maybe the track's just too sticky. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized it's probably honestly the turbo itself. The old turbo spooled really quick. Peak torque was like right around 5,500 RPM. So I was able to launch at like 5,500, 6,000 and kind of ride that torque right out the hole. Because that's really what you want to do. You want to have your two-step right at about where peak torque is, starting to occur, so that when you start letting the clutch out, you can kind of just ride that torque out. With the bigger turbo, I was still trying that 5,500, 6,000 launch, and it would just bog, as you saw in the first few runs there. So I raised it to 63, it got a little bit better, and I raised it to 64, and it got a lot better. And I really think if I go like 64.5, maybe 65, it might leave the hole like perfect. So once the temperature drops some more, I really plan on getting right back out to the track. So I might change my plans as far as pulling the engine apart, because originally I was going to just go ahead and pull the engine apart. I got some pistons, I got some rods, just need to get the bearings and all that stuff, but the car is running pretty good, aside from that noise that you probably heard earlier in the video. But I'm probably just going to wait, because the car seems to be running fine, so I don't want to pull it down and then, find something else catastrophic that I have to change, or that I feel like I should change and have the car down and then miss the cold weather, because the cold weather here really only lasts about 3 months, and so I don't want to miss that. So anyways, I actually had some pretty decent progress. So there we can see our first run. Not great, horrible 60 foot. Not a horrible 60 foot, but not a great 60 foot. It kind of bogged a little bit off the line, and the car was actually turned down. So me and Carlos were playing with the boost ramp. We had it set to be really low boost in first and second gear, and we had it set way too low. So there was like no boost in first or second gear, and part of third there was like no boost. So it was just kind of a kind of run. This run turned the boost up, but it bogged really bad on the line, and it felt like it was doing some funny stuff, so I ended up letting out, which is why I only won 120. Third run, This is where we started playing with the launch control, and so we got it. This was a 6,300 RPM launch, and it left pretty beautifully. See there, 1760 foot. Not sure what else happened there. I think I really wasn't driving it like I should have been. And then, and I had a degree of timing out of it too, just because I was having some issues in the other two runs I thought might have been timing related, but I think it was actually more so related to using the flat shifts. The car was kind of bogging in between the shifts, and it felt like it might have been clutch slip. So, not too excited about that. But anyways, that one, good run, progress. This run, really horrible launch, but the fact that it went that fast with a 2060 foot is good. I mean, that's good. The fact that it went that far, that fast in the eighth, and that fast in the quarter with that bad of a 60 foot means that if I had a 60 foot like this on this run, that would have been a real low 11. I'm not going to say it would have been a 10, but it would have been a real low 11 with that much steam in it. This run right here, this one kind of pisses me off quite a bit. So if you watch the video, you'll see that I'm on the two-step, and then I'm sitting, and then the top bulbs go out. I didn't move, but the top bulbs went out. So that made my 60 foot really bad. I haven't really calculated it yet because I haven't edited the video yet, but I'm willing to believe that those lights went off probably a full half second, 3/4 of a second before I actually left. So, I mean, this right here, that could have been a 10-9, if the timing system didn't decide to dick me. I mean, maybe I rolled out of the beams, but I don't think I rolled out of the beams because both the top and bottom bulbs went out simultaneously. But anyways, yeah, this run right here could have been a good one if the timing system didn't do what it did. Alright, so now we got the logs here. Not really a whole lot to show in the logs. I just kind of wanted to go over the issue I was having before. So you look at this first launch here. The green line is RPM. So this is all two-step, 6,000, 61,000, or 6,100. Two-step. I let the clutch out, and then you see the RPM drop all the way down here to, what is that? 3,000 RPM. I mean, that is way down. So then the car has to lug its way all the way back up, and yada yada yada. Also, like I said, this was the first run where we had the boost really low, so it was only like 16 pounds in first, and about, not even that much. It's about 12 pounds in first, about 13, 14 pounds, 15 pounds in second, and then slowly ramped up in third. So the fact that it went 126 on that little boost, I mean, it back half like hell. It was about 35 pounds out the back, but nothing in the front half there. So now we see the second run, same kind of thing, 6,000 RPM, let the clutch out, and just bog all the way down to 3,000 RPM. Actually, that went all the way down to 2,000, 2,500 RPM. Surprised the car didn't stall. And then same kind of thing, but we had more boost in. I ramped the boost in a little bit harder. Still not great. Fourth run was where we went ahead, we raised the rev limiter, or the two-step, all the way up to, it's supposed to be 23, but it's actually reading 24 there, but whatever. So 2,400, 23, 24, we'll say, around there. And then we see we let the clutch out. We still get that little bit of dip, but it only dips down to about 4,000, and then quickly rides back up, and then we're in boost. Still low boost in first. I can probably get a little bit more boost, but this down here is the time-based traction control. So this is how much ignition cut it's taking to keep traction. So probably can't give it that much boost because it's spinning pretty good there. Second gear, Like I said, it comes in 32 pounds, pretty quick, blah, blah, blah. The fifth run, bogged again, pretty bad. Not sure what happened there, but it bogged pretty bad, all the way down 2,000. And then the fifth run, which was a really good run, very minimal dip. You know, we're at 2,600 RPM. It's set to about 24, but I guess it goes a little bit above because the ignition cut isn't that aggressive. Anyways, green line here. We're sitting here, 6,500 RPM. Let the clutch out. Drops down to 44. Comes back up into power pretty quick. Then we take off. The goal here would be to get rid of that dip. It would be that we want to just come off two-step and just be on power. So that's not too bad. Like I said, we can probably give it a little bit more RPM there and make it so that it just comes out of that hole and stays on power pretty good. The rest of the run's pretty good there. You know, nothing to really talk about. Oh yeah, the other thing I want to talk, the one thing I was saying that I saw earlier in the runs that was concerning were when I was flat shifting it, you see, you know, green line here, but we see the, alright, so this is what I was concerned with earlier. This is what I was feeling when I would let the clutch out. That little tiny rise in RPM and comes back down and then kind of levels out. Same thing in each gear. You know, you can feel, you can see the little ripple there in RPM as I flat shifted. That was pretty much flat shift. I don't think the clutch likes that because same thing in the first run, not as bad. Fourth run, I didn't really flat shift it as hard. Did a little bit, but I could definitely feel that in the run. I can feel it kind of, feel like it drags a little bit. So something for me to watch out for. Clutch might not be too happy with the full power shifts at the power level the car is at. You know, it is a single disc, so it's not, probably really wasn't meant for the type of power the car is putting down right now, but hey, for right now it's holding. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing really super exciting to really talk about. So yeah, basically the goal is oh, it's really dark. The goal is to basically wait for the weather to get a little bit better. You know, like I said, it wasn't hot yesterday. DA was still like 2,000. You know, I think the very last run of DA was like 1,900 or 1,800. So it was a lot better than the 1,800 it was a time prior to this that I went to the track. But the fall weather's coming, you know, or what I guess you can call it fall weather here in Florida. The weather is the temperature is dropping. So if I'm just patient and I wait it out, you know, we get the DA down to 1,000 or 500 or maybe even 0, you know, once we get to, you know, once it gets cold out. And I think the car is really going to come alive. Because, I mean, hell, the car picked up like 2 miles an hour just from it going from a 2,500 DA to a 1,800 DA over the course of the night. So yeah. Alright, so yeah, the only other thing really worth talking about, I mean, I'm sure you saw the other video with the rods, max speeding rods. Got a set of used CP pistons. So if you're wondering why there's 5 instead of just 4, it's because I'm converting the car over to a Volvo engine and not really. So anyways, the reason why there's 5 instead of 4 is because one of these had a little whoopsie, but they were covered. It was covered under warranty, so CP placed it with a brand new piston. So these will be going into the new build. These are 9 to 1 compression as opposed to the 8.5 to 1 compression that are in the engine now. So these will likely be, well, rings there and whatnot. So this will be the parts for the new engine. You know, like I would just use the pistons that are in the engine now, but The wrist pin bore might be damaged. I don't know. I really don't know yet. Plus, these are just too good of a deal to kind of pass up on. So, like I said, if I decide to build a spare engine or something, I have those. But, yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Nothing else to really report on. So, until next time.